Hey, 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 everybody. It's yours truly, Takara Nicole. We got Isha the Influencer in his house, as well as Lady Liz. And you know what time it is. It is Thursday night. We are in the place to be. And it is indeed another episode of Vault Talks Women Share the Virtual Experience. Ladies, how y'all feeling?
I'm feeling real good tonight. Happy to be back on this week. I know it's not our new night, but we gonna rock it.
We're gonna rock this party. I don't know. Every time that I listen to our theme music, I catch myself sitting here dancing and moving, and I'm like, oh, so dope. So if you didn't know, now you know. You need a place to be. Vault Talks Women Share. We're here. We're excited to be here. Vault Talks Women Share is indeed a platform where women can come to learn more and share more about matters that pertain to their world. It's indeed on this platform where we'll share about love, entrepreneurship, sisterhood, fashion, and of course, ways to be empowered as women. And tonight, or tomorrow, whenever you're catching this on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. There's tons of things you can be doing, and you're spending your time with the Queens of Vault Talks. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate that. So if you don't know, now you know. Normally how we kick off our show is we would chat a little bit, we dialogue and kind of get to know one another, meaning that you guys get to know who we are as the Queens of All Talks. But tonight we're going to switch things up a little bit, okay? So typically what we do is quiet, it's quote time. But tonight we want to dive into our topic as much as we can, as this is a very important topic and near and dear to our hearts for so many reasons. If you guys don't know, if this is your first time to Vault Talks Women Share, this is indeed a platform where we're real, we're vulnerable, it's a safe place, and we want to make sure that we are talking about matters that really need to hit home. And so on every second Thursday, we talk about her wellness matters. And so it can be anything from mental stability, it can be anything from health, whatever it takes for the woman to be as powerful as she is, and knowing that her wellness indeed matters. So tonight we're going to be talking about two topics, one being about suicide awareness. We have the one and only Renee Cooper, who is a powerhouse all by herself, and definitely I deem as someone who is a true expert with this, and she might question me or why I call her that. Just warning y'all, we have a very close sister relationship, so if she clowns me, it's okay. It's nothing personal. You don't have to put anything in the comments. Talk about how dare her. That's just her personality. We're super excited that she's here to talk about this topic tonight. We also have the one and only Viola Hall. She is the queen of GEM, which is her foundation, her business, her heartbeat, and she'll talk a little bit more about that, but just understanding about wellness and how you can be whole as a woman, really important. We're going through some trying times just as a country, as a world, and so it's really important for women to be able to connect with other women who are going through the same things, have gone through the same things, maybe have shared experience with others who have gone through the same things as well. So instead of doing our quiet, it's quote time, we want to give a moment of silence for those women who have taken their life due to suicide. Okay. Well, I see the ladies in the place to be. We're going to start bringing them up. First, we're going to bring Renee Cooper up. Hopefully she's ready to share and be all that she is. The powerhouse, the advocate, the speaker, here recently the podcaster. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Launching the successful podcast that she's no, I'm not gonna play her like that today. We're here to talk about something serious. So let's see if I can bring her up as she is ready to come. Receive her as she is, the one and only Renee Cooper. Cooper. Sorry.
Wow. So it's broken. That's why I'm silent. First of all, it's always an honor and privilege to join you. Wonderful, fabulous ladies. Hello. I love you, each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Sakara, I'm not gonna pick on you tonight. Tonight you want to say it's a serious subject, so I'm gonna leave you alone for a little while. Um, thank you for all the kudos. I'm trying to multitask. We scheduled this, and I also forgot that I had another meeting scheduled for event that I'm a part of at the end of the month. So I'm trying to, if you guys see my eyes roll up, I'm trying to pay attention without turning my volume up because it's some information I need to get from them. So I do apologize for not checking
Oh,
my schedule. I do love you guys, and of course I want to be here. So thank you for having me.
absolutely. No, we totally understand. That's one of the things we do as women. We always are multitasking in some shape or capacity. So next, I want to go ahead and introduce this queen. Hopefully, she's ready to come and share with us all that she knows. I don't see her face, but I do see her name. Viola, are you in the building, my dear?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Hey,
Hello.
hey, hey. Check one, check one. 1 2 1 2. My mic sounds nice. Okay, we in the building.
Can y'all hear me?
Loud and
Yep.
clear.
All
Absolutely.
right.
Okay.
Awesome. Hello, everybody.
All
Hey,
right, let's get this party started. So, Viola, if you want to share just a little bit about who you are, I mean, what I love about this atmosphere tonight. These women are so dedicated to coming on this show. Whenever we ask them, they never say no. They're always present, they're always relevant, and they're always on time with something that we all need to hear. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here with us, and to share your knowledge and your wisdom with the world. So thank you. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So I want to share a little bit about what inspired me to talk about this subject. Um, and this woman is an inspiration to a lot of people. She's so cool and low key about what she does. She doesn't like all the kudos and things of that nature. But she had a clubhouse room last week in reference to something that she had to do in reference to helping save somebody else's life, literally, because they were ready to take their life. Renee, I just want to thank you for creating such a space on Clubhouse last week to be able to facilitate a conversation that's much needed, that
Well, I
doesn't
was about
get
to ask you, who are you talking about?
whatever, it doesn't get all the attention that it deserves. So, as it's her wellness matters, that segment was coming up. I was like, you know what? Let's continue the conversation in a bigger capacity because it's something that many deal with, and they suffer silently or in a place of silence because they don't want to share. They're embarrassed or whatever the reasons may be. They have no one to trust in reference to the thoughts that are going on in their mind around this topic. So let's dive in. The Queens of Vault Talks have created some questions, and we want to just facilitate a healthy conversation. So, what are some warning signs of someone battling suicidal thoughts? Let's talk about this. I am also going to put the suicide hotline number up just in case that there is someone who is out here watching this, and we're talking about some relevant information, and they may know somebody who may be in this place and didn't even recognize it until they stumbled across this live. So that will be entered into the chat as well. So let's dig in and talk about this information. So, what are some warning signs of someone battling suicidal thoughts?
You want me to go first?
Whoever wants to go. Yeah.
Well, for me, last week when I got the phone call, since this is kind of what sparked your your show for this evening, I actually, so for me, oh, let me go back. So I'm wearing my tab T-shirt tonight. For those of you who don't know, I do have a not-for-profit organization by the name of For My Voice Matters, and it was geared at first towards domestic violence and domestic violence only, because I am a domestic violence advocate. So in 2018, my significant other and we lost his daughter, my bonus daughter, to suicide. And with their blessing in January of 2019, I launched a branch under For My Voice Matters geared towards bringing suicide prevention awareness, because I never really talked about it for myself. But because it's another thing, just like domestic violence, it's embarrassing, especially when you attempt and you fail. Because the whole thing is when you attempt something, you think you're going to go through with it, and then when you're still here, you have to deal with the stuff, and it's a mental turmoil. It kind of bothers you. So of course, if you fail and nobody knew what you did, like especially if you did it within the privacy of your own home, and for whatever reason you survived it, you didn't get to go to the hospital, you didn't tell nobody nothing, then why share that the fact being that you tried to do it, because you never know if you're going to try to attempt it again. Common sense would tell us that that person should reach out for help when you're desperate and you're just tired and you feel like you're at wit's end and there's no relief or whatsoever have you, then that's the way you feel like you're going to go. At least that's for me. I'm not speaking for everybody. That's just for Renee. At least that's how I felt in my marriage. So TAB, which stands for Trendy Ann Banks, which is at the bottom. My baby loved unicorns and she loved singing. And she also claimed before we had some conversations. She talked about kids picking on her at school for various reasons, and me being someone who believes strongly in affirmations and things of that. I always, when I had the opportunity to talk to her, especially 2 weeks before she took her life, we talked about affirming herself. We talked about being positive. We talked about she and I building a stronger relationship, knowing that she could rely, if she didn't feel like she could rely on anybody else, she could rely on me and her big sister. And, I didn't necessarily see any signs when it came to her, because she was not around us per se all the time. She was with her mom, and I can't attest to see what she might have did, because she seemed like a bubbly kid. She seemed like she was very, very popular. At the end, when we had our services, they literally had to close the doors of the church because there was no more room for people to come in and pay their respects. So for someone to feel like they didn't make a difference on the outside looking in, it's difficult to believe that she felt the way she felt. But I know for a fact that it's true because I felt that way before. But the reason why we're talking tonight was because one of the signs I got last week was a young lady called me, somebody I connected to by happenstance out in public. I'll say that it was God. I'll say that, I felt something, or I felt like I needed to be connected to her for a reason. So as distant as she looked, as mean as she looked, when she kind of reminded me of myself, because some people can look at me and look at me and say that I come off as being kind of standoffish, not really approachable. And it's just my facial expression. I felt the same thing about her. So I made her have a conversation with me. And in doing that, she became someone who called me, not all the time, but she talked to me. She believed in what I was doing. She followed me on Facebook. She would check on me from time to time via inboxes, things like that, see how I was doing, yada, yada, yada. So the last couple, she had a personal situation that happened over the summer. And she called me for my advice. She called me for some assistance. I walked her through the best way I could, not understanding at that time that this situation was more traumatic, and she suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder and other things that happened. And because she was someone who kind of swept her feelings under the rug, I did see some things at the time. I thought I had walked her off the ledge. As far as that situation was concerned, did the best I could to get her resources, things like that. And I thought she was okay. She texted me a couple times between the incident and last Thursday. And we talked, briefly from time to time. Last Thursday, though, what triggered me was I got the phone call, and it was, "Hey, sis, um, are you busy?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm not busy today. What's going on? You need to talk." She was like, "Well, no, I just wanted to call and tell you I love you." And I said, "Well, I love you too." And she said, "And I want to thank you for everything that you've done for me. And I want to thank you for always listening to me and always supporting me." And I said, "Hold on. First of all, I don't like your tone. Secondly, this sounds like you're saying goodbye." And she said, "Well, would you just be quiet and listen to what I'm saying?" And I said, "Okay, you have 1 minute to tell me what you're saying." And she went on to say that she believed in what I was doing, that I was a blessing to others, and a couple other things. And when she finished saying that, I said, okay, again, it still sounds like you're saying goodbye. And it does sound like you're saying goodbye because you're relocating to another location. So, where are you? I need to come get you. And she refused to tell me where she was. So, I made her promise me. I mean, literally, like made her take an oath over the phone because my problem was if God forbid she decided to do something and somebody picked up her phone, I would probably be one of the last few people that she spoke with. That would promise you that was the first thing that ran across my mind. I was heavy. I broke down and cried once I got phone with her, but I made her promise to call me no later than 4 o'clock that afternoon. I said, okay, you have 4 hours to tell me where you are, or else I'm going to find some type of way. They have all this technology. The big brother's always watching. So for them to tell me they don't know where she is, if I give you a phone number, you better figure it out. I know I watch enough ID channel, Law and Order, SVU, and all that other good stuff to know that if there's a phone, they can track you. So she actually promised me, and she's someone who I believed from conversation previous is someone who's a woman who is very, her word is bond, basically. So when I got off the phone, I broke down and cried. I called my best friend. I told her I needed her to pray. And then I do like I always do. I reach out to those people who follow me and believe me on Facebook. I come from I'm not a church girl, but I'm a woman of faith and I have church in my background. I've partnered with several churches in my adult life. And I know that I'm connected with several of them on Facebook. So I just put a post up and I said, you all, I feel helpless. I need you all to pray. Please pray. And people prayed. At least they said they were praying. They commented on the post or whatever have you. And within an hour and a half, she texted me back and told me where she was, which allowed me to go get her and take her to safety. So when you get phone calls like that, I'm not saying they're always like that. Some people may just be calling you to tell you they love you. But at the same time, too, you just have to listen for words. You have to listen for words and tone. Most times people who are, I believe, again, this is Renee 101. Most times people who are contemplating suicide, there has been something that has happened that seems to be traumatic for them. Sometimes you may know about it, sometimes you may not know about it. But those people that are, family members that are close to you, friends that are close to you, we just have to be aware of signs. And a sign, like I said, could be them calling and saying goodbye, them calling you and telling you they love you more times than they usually do, them becoming isolated and distant. It's almost the same signs you would think if you see about a domestic violence victim. Sometimes because, again, I isolated myself. I disconnected from people who I knew loved me. I didn't necessarily tell anybody I loved them because I didn't want to put that. Me personally, I guess my thing is too, even though I knew I was going to be gone and my thought process, it wasn't what somebody would feel or how they would feel once I was gone. It was more so about me finding peace within myself. And I felt that my life here was over because I could not get out of my abusive relationship at the time. So for me, I felt like I had no choice. I was either going to continue to suffer in this relationship or I could have some peace and just not be here. And I didn't think about the effects that it may have on the people who truly love me. I just wanted to get away from my abuser. But that's my story. A lot of times when we find out these young adults are killing themselves, it's always something, it generally has to do statistics from when I read stuff. It usually has to do with bullying or them being confused about sexuality, them not being accepted by family members. What they think is a really hard breakup with somebody that's just so devastating, like they'll never find love again in their life because at 15, 16 years old, they've lived life, which we all know is not true. Anybody who's made it over, heck, 18, 21, 25, the major milestones, we know when we look back over our lives and we think about the things that we dealt with in our youth or in our teenage years that we thought was so devastating then, or so hard at that time. When we look back over it, once we hit 25, once we hit 30, and me knocking on 50, I look back at some of the things that I did in life, and I was just like, wow, I thought that was heavy. And now I realize being abused, being shot was a lot heavier than the stuff I dealt with then. And I just think that because the world now is so heavy with just different things. I mean, we're dealing with a pandemic. We're dealing with, and I really think that social media plays a lot into it too, because I think about when I was a kid and I was bullied, and then I'm gonna shut up. Bullying was something that, we all kids, and kids can be, we don't know what they necessarily learning from them. Kids can be mean. I was the darkest child. I was called a tar baby. I was nappy headed and everything like that. And that hurt my feelings. It did something to my self-esteem. But once I left school, I didn't have to worry about seeing my bully till the next day. Or if it was over the weekend, I knew I had 2 days of a break of, not having to be bothered with that person. And then, kids, we fight and make up like there's no tomorrow. So you might be mad at me and talking about me on Friday, but Monday you want to be my friend again. But with social media, everything they doing on social media, everything they do at school, they putting on social media. I don't like her because of this. And they get a whole audience of people to chime in and talk about that person too, or to laugh and make fun of them. They're filming fights on and putting it up on camera, which means that it has to be, it can be replayed over and over again. It could be shared over and over again. You got Facebook memories. So next year at the same time, if you forgot about it, now you can't forget about it because it's being brought up over and over again. And I think that's a huge part with the children today, with our youth today. So, yeah, it's difficult and hard. I just know that, just like what I do with domestic violence, it's all about having a conversation. And I think if we talk to these people more, even adults, some people lose jobs and they feel like it's the end of the world. I just know that it's not the end of the world. There's always other jobs out there. It may not be the job you have right now, or it may be something you have to take a lower paying job just to survive. But as long as you open your eyes up and you take a breath, there is purpose. We just have to find out what the purpose is.
Right. You made a lot of good points, especially with the bullying and, the domestic violence. And I think the question that we were getting at is, what are some of the signs? And you also mentioned the tone of people's voices and what they're saying, and if they went through some type of traumatic experience. From my own personal experience, if you get that phone call and have somebody saying, life is hard, and they're just talking about all the things that they're going through. Life is hard for everybody, but that's not something you want to say. I think the best thing to do is listen, and really try to encourage them the best that you can. But just listening to you and your story, it really brought up a lot of things that, we kind of look over and don't really pay attention to when it comes to, people hurting and the bullying and, the domestic violence. A lot of people don't talk, like Takara was saying. We suffer in silence. And so some of, when we're battling those type of thoughts, it's good to reach out. And if you could, or if Liz or anybody else want to kind of chime in, what are some of the things that we could say, when someone comes to us and just, heavy, don't think they can go on? What are some of the things that, we can say as a support?
I'll chime in on that. There's some of the things that you can definitely say is that you hear them, because people just want to be heard. The majority of the time, we don't feel like they're getting the attention, or they're being sought after, or letting them know that, I'm here for you. They're not able to hear those things. And whatever the reason for it, whether it be within the family or whatever, in regards to friends, or they don't have friends, or they push so many people away so many times that it just seems hard. Just like you said, life is hard. Unfortunately, there's plenty of things that we can do to let them know that, you know, someone here is watching. Do I need to call you every day? Do I need to reach out to you? How often? You know, but also understanding where they're coming from, what's the emotion that they're going through, and try to break that down and why they're actually experiencing that. I had a situation with a friend of mine who just gave up on life, and just was just not interested anymore. And I can also speak for myself, where I was feeling that way at a young age, because I felt dismissed, or feelings of just all in my feelings, you know, deep into my emotions that didn't understand, because as a child, I didn't really get what was going on. Um, but back to my friend, he literally told me, he was like, Liz, I can't do this anymore for whatever the reason. And he had kids, and I was just like, you have to do it. You have to stay here for your children. Your children are not going to understand why you took your life. They're not going to understand that. To bring it, always bringing it back towards the bigger picture, because at the end of the day, unfortunately, the world does not revolve around us. We see through our eyes and we understand through our eyes, and sometimes people around us don't make sense. And it's not always going to be like that. But what we want to do is push forward and understand their concern. Um, if you are not the person at the time, you know, I live states away from this person, and I couldn't really physically be there, but I showed the concern within my voice, within my heart, within the love that I know that I constantly give, even if we were never anything more than just friends. It was, I love you. At the end of the day, I would hurt. My heart would bleed if you left. If your kids knew what happened or whatever the case on that, they would bleed. You need to understand that it's a bigger picture. Fight through whatever it is that you got going on, and understand that, you know, you're meant to be here. God didn't make you on accident. There was no accident. There was no mistake. You are here for a reason, and the reason that you're going through the process, whatever it is that you're going through right now, is to actually teach somebody else how to get through.
I think that's valid information. As one who has attempted suicide a couple of times, you know, it's a tough, dark, lonely place.
Mm-hmm.
And you are dealing with so many emotions to where, you know, there's times where, like you said, you don't feel loved, appreciated, or whatever. But sometimes it's hard to articulate how somebody can really help you in that place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for you, it's, I just want to give up. I don't want to even put in any effort to live because I'm so hurt at what's taking place, or it's a buildup. So it's just not the current situation that has led us to, you know, want to take our lives. It's that it's a one thing after another, after another, after another. You're working, trying to create a solution to bring resolution around your pain, your hurt, your abuse, your rejection, your depression, and it seems like nothing's working. So when you feel like that, you're like, well, if nothing's working, let me just end my life. And it's like I said, it's a dark place. And, you know, I hear what we're saying, you know, we have purpose and, you know, push through. But when you're tired, that's falling on deaf ears, a broken heart, a mind that can't receive that. You're ready. You're ready to check out. You're not even in a place to, you know, catch that and run. You're depleted. Your only option in your mind at that point is exit stage left. That's it. You're not thinking about who loves you. You're not thinking about who's told you they loved you. You're not thinking about the people who were there to support you in some shape or fashion. You're exhausted. And all you're thinking about is, take me out, please. And it's a very, like, I can't even explain. I'm just so thankful to God that my attempts didn't work. and then I can share, that now with a lot of people. And I've been sharing it more here in the past year or so. And my mom and I were talking about it not too long ago. And it was the first time I ever mentioned it to her. Now I'm 39. This happened when I was 19 or 20. So you're talking almost 20 years ago, and this is the first time I'm talking about it to my mom. So you can imagine the range of emotions that, she was, well, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, for what? I'm not thinking about you. All I'm thinking about is me and this pain that I just need to get rid of, period. Whether I tried overdosing, that didn't work. I tried to hang myself, that didn't work. So we have to be very real with, how to approach these people when they're hurting. At this point, sometimes we sound like Charlie Brown's teacher. Real talk. Want, 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 want. So, how do we really equip ourselves to break through that barrier between I love you, I'm here to support you, you can trust me, so we can save lives?
I think if, we can get into a position of kind of reshaping perspective, because I heard each of you who's spoken already, you mentioned emotions. It's a lot of emotional, it's a lot of emotions going on during that moment, which pretty much is all it's comprised of, is how you perceive the events that happen in your life. It's how you perceive how other people perceive you. So it's just your perception, and then your thoughts, and then how you feel about those things. So, therapy definitely, I would suggest that definitely works, but learning how to kind of control, in a sense, those emotions, or redirect them, or reshape them, in a sense, because like I said, it's all about perception. And if you choose to look at something differently, then it looks different. So just having somebody there to kind of, reshape or train your mind to think, in different ways. And like you said, it kind of falls on deaf ears in the moment.
Yeah.
But, if you get them through that night or through that episode or whatever, that's something that consistently that you can kind of work on, and kind of help them reshape their thoughts, because it's all about emotions. Like you said, when we're young, we break up or whatever, and you think it's the end of the world. But like the old people say, just keep living. You'll see that there are, worse things that can happen, and then you'll get over them. So, I mean, that's just a part of life. It's just how you look at our experience here while we're here, and you have a purpose. But when you are experiencing those emotions, ask yourself why. Why do I want to kill myself? Answer that question. Why do I feel this way? Answer that question. And once you answer all the whys and you get down to the bottom of it, then you'll understand, okay, maybe it's not that serious to want to end it. Maybe I can live another day. Maybe I can, do those things. It's just about asking yourself, or having someone else ask the right questions.
So let's go ahead and did you have something, Viola?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna add to that, just the importance of, especially for women, having a knit tight sister circle. Because if you're so down and get that womp womp womp, and you're not trying anything, like, you need a sister circle, whether one or two women that really love you, that really have your back, that's willing, to do to go above and beyond. Like, hey, where you at? Like, okay, I'm coming over there right now. Like, that person that's really, going to help pull you out of that. Because if you deep down inside can't pull yourself out of it, then you have to rely on somebody else to be able to help you. They at that time may not be thinking that they're going through so many different emotions, feelings, but it's like, before something even like that happens, it's so great to have a sister circle, somebody to rely on, independent, and then just kind of back to the question, I've heard so much already, which is awesome. And just my perspective on it, especially when you're knit tight with the person, the brother, the sister, the mom, the dad, the uncle, whoever, and you're living in a household, some other signs too, or letters, because most people write their feelings out before they want to check out, or they record something, or they leave different types of signs on, okay, this is how I'm feeling. Like, somebody know, like, I gotta express it to somebody. And just making sure that, whenever we do come in contact with somebody who's ready to do that, is really loving on them, really showing them the love, like Elizabeth said, because most times that people, they want to check out is because they've been ignored, right? They've been hurt, they've been beat up, they've been damaged spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally.
Yeah.
And so for that person to really come along and just show and really truly care for them, then that could bring them down a little bit, take down that barrier a little bit, bring those walls down more, to where now you can pour into them. I've never experienced that as far as somebody else wanting to do, but I've experienced it for myself, when I was my daughter's age, 10 years old, because you're not thinking and knowing and going through so much stuff, within your household, seeing abuse, seeing drugs, seeing alcohol, seeing so much stuff going on. And it's like, why am I here? So if it wasn't for my brother coming in the room and like, hey, what are you doing? Like, I'm gonna go tell dad, and got this big old long, butcher knife, and you're ready to check out. Like, you're ready to just go to war, because once you cut the heart supply off, it's a wrap.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
going through those type of things, and just really, being in church, hearing the word, right? Just hearing the word really helped me and talked me off of the ledge, because the Holy Spirit really mentored to me. And even though I didn't know anything about the Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit was talking to me this whole time, when I wanted to actually do that. So it is very important that we have a spiritual life. Spirituality is very, very important, because you need to be in tune with who you are. And a lot of people do it because they don't know who they are. They're seeking, they're wondering, they're trying to figure it out. I
Yeah.
got this over here doing this. I got this person over here saying I got this person over here beating me up. I got this person emotionally abusing me. And so they don't know who they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
For an outlet to just say it's a wrap.
Rap. Yeah.
Important that we have a spiritual life, but we also have a sister circle, a bro circle, somebody who knows you, so they can see and read your body language and know,
Yeah.
okay, not right with you. What's going on with you
What's
today?
going on with you? Yeah. And I think it's more important for people who live alone to have some type of accountability and somebody that, they're that circle. Because when you're alone, I can only speak for myself. It's more of, I ain't got nobody else to talk to but me.
Right.
And right now, my mind is not in a place to make any sound decisions whatsoever. There's nobody here to talk me off my ledge but me. In my mind, I am very weak and broken. So I'm not even thinking about, reaching out to somebody, phoning a friend or whatever. It's just me. And I can definitely say you said something, Viola, that really honed in on something, and I had to really connect the dots. My first suicide attempt was when I was in my domestic violence relationship, and this man was cheating on me and beating me, and but oh, I love you, and I was just super confused. I was like, how is this love, and all these other questions, but I lived alone. So, living alone, it was like, well, somebody will find me. That's the way I was thinking. Like, somebody will find me eventually, so you're right. We have to learn how to have people. Let's say this. We need to learn how to get healed from the brokenness of not being able to rely on people, especially as women. We're very closed off. The moment a woman looks at us the wrong way, we already put them in the outer courts. We're like, no access over here. And I believe one of the things that we really need to work on as women is being healed enough to allow for people to love on us and care for us in a capacity that if we do need somebody, then we have that sister circle to be able to say, you know what, I am not okay right now. And, you know, I just need a moment of your time, you know, and I know that I have that now, but it always wasn't like that for me. It was always everybody coming to me and me and me and me. But when everybody's coming to you and you and you're like, you know, you're thinking, was that escape? Who can I run to? You,
Yes.
real. You in your mind, you thinking, who can I run to? Everybody runs to me as that safe place. And so, you know, the pressure is even that more intense when you are, you know, battling these thoughts and you ain't got nobody. So I believe that as women, first of all, we're powerful beings. If we can just commit to love ourselves so much to deal with our brokenness, our rejection, our abandonment issues, we can really welcome in those people who are to hold up our right arm and our left arm when it's time for us to just, I need a break. I need a mental break. And I can trust you and I can trust you. You on my right, you on my left. If I know you on my right and my left, I got this. I can do that. But that starts in our minds to be able to be healed from trauma that we've experienced, to be able to just be relevant and present in how we're feeling and what our emotions truly are, and stop wearing the Lancome, Mac, Juvia Place, NARS, Bobby Brown mask, and just to be really Takara Nicole, Lady Liz, Renee, Isha, and Viola, you know, or whatever other women, men that are watching this tonight. So let's transform or transition into this next question. Has suicide been normalized too much by mainstream media?
Yes.
Okay. Say yes, Isha. Yes. No.
Yeah,
All right, no. You said yes. Viola, you said yes. Renee, you said yes. Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like they just made it super easy. You know, you just do this and okay, end the story. The end, literally.
It's unfortunate because at the end of the day, I think they've normalized everything from the beginning of time. Really understanding, you know, who we were meant to be as a group, as a culture. I know that it's gotten lost in the because everybody's like, oh, I'm in it for myself. If you don't do for you, then the next person won't do for you. That's how that's how I was raised. Not nobody else. But you always have to look out for yourself. No one else is gonna do it for you, unfortunately. And I think that when you take play and they put it into media,
Yeah.
whether it be, you know, just like the news where they play majority negative. 95% of it is negative. It used to show every now and again, they used to show like good topics or who are heroes of our neighborhoods. They don't do that anymore. If you've noticed, they stopped that altogether because it doesn't pull in the ratings that they want. Ratings are because most of people are actually wanting negative feed, or because a lot of people are just, you know, they're infatuated with the thoughts of how does someone die? What does that look like? How does it look when when they lose all sense of within the eyes, like all sense of who you are within the eyes? And then when that's lost, a lot of people are just infatuated. Like Dexter, when that show Dexter came out, that's the only thing I could think of that makes me. I don't know why I want to watch the serial killer kill all these people, but I want to watch it. You know, all of a sudden it's intriguing and it's insightful, and it's like, oh yeah, we should definitely get all these mean people off the streets. But that's not the point.
Right.
Okay, so the point at the end of the day, for me, at least my opinion is, you know, yeah, there's some bad people out there. It's unfortunate, and no matter where we go, no matter what country you're in, there's going to be some bad people out there who are just going to have the urge and do whatever it is that they do. But it's all about us who are taking in the right type of info and able to put that out there and see the bigger picture. Like, that's not who we are. That's not who God intended us for us to be. That's not how this universe was supposed to work. It's a circle of life. We all, we do something, we live old and we die, and then we replenish the earth on that end. But I think that, yeah, so not even just, I think that even with social media, it's like they tend to say, oh, if you're 18, then you can view, but there's really no parental guidelines like it used to be. So I think that there's just a lot going on. What do you girls think?
I think they use it to influence a certain group of people, especially the younger children. I worked for a suicide hotline for the state of Illinois, and it was just for adults, but they opened it up for kids. And the majority of the calls that we got in were for children. Teachers were calling from the schools. They make threats all the time, whether they were going through things at home or whatnot. But they had this show, I think it was on Netflix, called 13 Reasons Why. And it was a whole series
Yes.
about kids killing themselves. I never watched it because I didn't, agree with it, but kids were watching it. So they are normalizing, that as a coping mechanism. Of course, when we're teenagers, the hormones, we go through a lot, the kids go through a lot, but that is not an answer. And I think as they were showing it, on television, that kids are out here doing it. Of course it happens, but this is not the way to deal with some of the things. So they're not promoting healthy ways of coping with emotional trauma or whatever it is that you're going through. But I feel that they are taking advantage of the television programming, as that's what they are doing, is programming us to think and choose certain things to influence children to look at that as a coping mechanism, as an option. You know what I mean? We have kids now threatening, to kill themselves. I heard a child, she was getting in trouble and she didn't like it. And she said, I'm gonna kill myself. And, just to hear a young child say that, out of desperation, out of, an attempt to, end what she was dealing with at that moment, even though it was temporary, it's going to be short lived. What you are saying that you're going to do is permanent, and you can't go back from there. And I don't think kids understand, the magnitude of what they are doing and what they're thinking about. You know what I mean? So I definitely think mainstream media takes advantage of influencing the young culture and thinking that that's a proper way to deal with, trauma or whatever it is that you're going through.
If
So
I could
definitely.
if I could interject, when you just said something, it made me think about something. When we talk about kids and we're talking about TV and how we play into the ID channel and we pay into like I don't know, maybe it's a mental thing since I liked crime shows before I got shot, but for whatever reason, I think I'm more fascinated with them now than I was before. So it's something with your psyche that does that thing. So I think that with children, we don't, well, I'm not gonna say we because I don't have no kids, but people don't a lot of times monitor what their kids watch anymore, like they did when I was coming up, and they just let them watch anything. And I think the sad part about it is TV is just that. It's some of the stuff is reality TV, but a lot of it we already know is fixed, is edited, is torn out or whatever have you. But when you think about, let's say we watching a movie or something, and the character dies in the movie, and then this same actor is shown up in another movie later on. Some kids can't separate fiction from reality. And even though they threaten and they talk about what they're going to do and they say they're going to do, or they're following what somebody did by committing suicide on TV because they seen that actor get up again in another movie, they don't realize how final their decision really is. And because none of us have touched over into the afterlife, if there is one, you don't know what they're thinking about when they start doing what they're doing. There's no way for. And then of course, I believe in there's a heaven and a hell. That's it.
Mhm.
So I believe that just like the Bible says that one day we're all gonna get up and we're gonna be together. But nobody can really attest to, because nobody but Jesus has come back that I know of and actually
Mhm.
said that, okay, I lay dead for 3 days and or Lazarus, let me say Lazarus. But Lazarus didn't even explain what he felt or what he did or did not do in death. It's not like somebody has, you have these people who say they died, or they thought they died, or they were in a coma and they transitioned to a light. But did those people actually die? Because they still had a heartbeat. They may have been in a coma. That's something totally different. But when we talk about the finality of death, nobody really knows what it's like to be dead. You can't come back and tell me that I felt calm or I felt peace. No, you just don't have life. And I think kids don't register, especially young kids who watch social media, who watch TV, watch movies, watch programs. They really don't understand the end of a thing. And that's definitely the end of a thing. Death is the end of a thing. We all got to cross that path someday. Some of us sooner than others. But to actually, and this is me speaking after trying to do it myself, like Sakara said, just the whole trying to fathom in my mind the finality of it and what that really entails. Nobody has a clue.
That's good.
Right.
That's good.
I
Let's
wonder if they even, think about that, when they're making that decision. Like you said, they don't understand. Of course, if they don't understand life, they won't understand the death process of what, comes after that. So I think, as for us and the older adults and the older generation, it's up to us to kind of teach them what we've learned along the way, what we've learned about life. And I know it's hard to reach teenagers who know everything, or children who know everything already. But, that's just the fight that you can't give up on, because we were them before and we've come to where we are now, and we've learned a lot along the way. And it's just like I say, the old people say, you just got to keep living. And there's certain things that we've always say, if I knew this then, if I knew then what I know now, things would be different. So just continue to pour out into the younger generation. I think it'll make things just that much better. I know it's like a never ending fight, but that's something that I feel like we're responsible for.
love
I think
it.
yeah. One real quick thing to add to that. I think if we just have open dialogue with our children, just have them openly, what are you thinking about? What do you think of death? Like, just having those discussions will definitely start to peer into what it is and how they think, and really being so that we can have those conversations. That's all I wanted to say.
Absolutely. Let's switch the subject. The other topic on tonight's show is just talking about walking in wholeness. And I want Viola to talk about a little bit about what she does with her program. And then let's start talking about, when we talk about being whole, what's one word that comes to our mind and why? So Viola, will you share a little bit about what you do in your business?
Yeah, sure. So, for those of you who don't know, I just launched my brand new business. It's called Gym Incorporated. That's my overhead, but it's fully to. And the reason why I created that is because I came from a place of, not being whole and really just trying to figure out how can I balance my life, mind, body, and spirit, and still function in this world. With so much stuff going on in the world, you have to be able to, have your right, have your body right, have your spirit right. So what I do is I work with, women, work with families. It's holistic health. So it's not just about healthy eating. It's not just about, exercising and working out, but really to help you to get your mind together. Because once you get your mind together, your spirit together, and your body together, it'll all align with each other. So not only do I help, women, families to transfer how they're eating right now for more healthier, lifestyle, because what you eat matters. And a lot of illnesses, a lot of things that are going on right now is due to what we put in our bodies and what we put on our bodies. A lot of people think that it's hereditary. I think a certain percentage of it can be, yes, absolutely. but also a lot of it has to do with what you put in your body. So that's what I help people, and I talk to people. I sit down and I help them to plan out a healthier lifestyle for themselves, whether they want to go to a plant-based lifestyle, whether they want to go vegan, whether they just want overall health. So we actually come together. We talk about, their mind, how they're feeling, why they want to go through the process, because it's a mental process. And you have to really know why you're doing this journey. So I don't just talk about, the health, but we also dig deep into, your spirit, your mind, and what you're doing. And so I really help people to come together and realize that, this journey is not just about, losing weight. It's not just about working out. This is really about being in alignment with yourself and loving your true self and who you are. And once you make those simple tweaks in your lifestyle, then that can truly change the outcome of the goals that you actually want to accomplish.
Absolutely. And I know each of the influencer can definitely chime in on this and just, having your why like scream at you in reference to, wanting to keep your mind, body, soul together as one. So what I really wanted to talk about and why I really wanted to include this in suicide awareness, this chat here, is because suicide awareness is one thing, but I feel like the and is the bridge to help people to walk in their wholeness. So what I mean by that is just having this conversation and just to give some practical nuggets, tools, wisdom on what wholeness could look like. And hopefully we can share some love, wisdom around helping somebody out here to realize that you don't have to take your life. There is a way that you can be whole, healthy, live a fruitful life, be excited about who you are, know your why, and really do some mental exercises on how to strengthen your mental capacity to be able to hold on to your wholeness. So when we talk about being whole, Aisha, let's start with you. What's one word that comes to your mind and why?
I think of self when it comes to being whole. And that's just really tuning out everything around you, the people around you. Social media is a big influencer on how we look at ourselves sometimes. And just learning to love yourself, like being able to sit with self by yourself and be okay with you. Like that's really truly what wholeness means to me, is that no matter what anybody says to you, to try to make you hate yourself, you already know that I've sat with myself, I've looked at myself, I've loved myself enough to the point where no matter what you say or do, you cannot come between this bond that I've built with me. You can't break this relationship. We hold on to other people so tightly for, whatever reason, to feel love and that type of thing. And no matter what they do to us, we still hold on and we hold on and we hold on. So having that type of love and relationship with self, I think that is just pure wholeness. It'll build you up in a way that, people can't really break you down. So that's what comes to mind when I think of wholeness.
Amazing. Liz, what about you?
I mean, I'm kind of gonna piggyback off of her just a little bit, but my word is child. Is really digging into yourself, but also understanding. Like I look at my child right now, I look at my son, and he could care less about what anybody thinks about him and what he's doing and how he's doing it, and so on and so forth. It's really coming back into that inner child and really understanding that there is no limit unless I put a limit in front of me. It's not about anybody else and how they're doing it and how she got it done or how he got it done, because God didn't put me on this earth in order for me to do what somebody else did. He put me here so that I could do what I was supposed to do. So it's really understanding how to dream again, how to really be imaginative, be creative, be all of those things within self, within a childlike play. Is really learning to play again and really have fun with it. No matter how many times you may fall, you still have fun with it. and really just dream big and not let anyone else come into that. So adding on to what Isha said, but also understanding that you have to become a kid again in order to become this person of wholeness, because you're already whole. You're not missing anything technically. So
Absolutely.
you just need to realize it and live in it and be done.
Viola?
Well, what came to my mind was being authentically you. You know, if you just be who you are and just be, who God created you to be, and accept all of accept your your downfalls, because once you accept that, you know that in life you are going to fail, in life you are going to, hit some speed, and just be authentic, you know, and accept that, okay, well, I'm not going to get it right all the time. So being whole to me is not striving to be perfect, because we're not perfect, right? If we were perfect, God couldn't use us. So we have to understand that we have to be authentic with who God created us to be. And if you don't know who you are, then that's where self-love comes in. Yes, we absolutely need that, but then that's where you sit down with yourself and you figure out, okay, God, why am I here? What is it that I need to do so that I can live every part of who I am authentically, and not care or worry about what other people are saying about me? So that's the first thing that came to mind for me.
All right, Renee?
Well, 2021, Sakara, for me has been a year of affirmations. This is all, it's all, anything we do in life, it first starts with a thought. And it becomes whether we want to react our childhood, whether we talk about self, whether we just being authentic, as the young lady said. So I'm big on affirmations this year. And, once you train your mind to do something, it's just like forming a habit. They say take 21 days to form a habit. I believe that if you practice affirming yourself daily, sometimes 2, 3 times a day, when you don't feel like it, just force yourself to do it. It's going to cause a mindset change. And the thing is with that, no, every day is not going to be roses. We don't live in a perfect society. We're not perfect human beings. And the fact being is, even in those difficult times, I still believe that you could bring yourself up out of something with affirmations. And that's what I've been big on. That's what saved me when I got to my lowest point. And I decided, when the Lord saw fit not to let my suicide attempt take me up out of here, and I knew it had to be a greater plan somewhere, then I had to decide in my mind that I was going to want better. Like I said, do I still have bad days? Most definitely. Do I still have hills, valley lows, high mountains? Most definitely. But what gets me through, or what helps me out, is the fact being I can turn around to myself and say, this situation does not make me. And then what I'll do is I'll take that negative situation and I'll find something, a word or something that's associated with it, and I'll find the exact opposite of it and make it positive, regardless of what it is. And that to me is what can assist in, helping people come out of the mindset of possibly wanting to take their lives, because it's always darkest before the dawn.
Yeah. I love.
Like,
oh, go ahead. I didn't know you were done. Go ahead.
No, I said if you could just make it to the light. Like, okay, so right quick, and I'm gonna shut up again. Right, like when I made the Facebook Live last week, after actually taking that young lady away, or meeting up with her and helping her out and getting her assistance, I was driving east into the city, and it was so dark in front of me, but behind me the sun hadn't totally set yet. And it was such a prophetic, profound moment for me. I got to realize that in less than 24 hours, this world that spins on its axle is going to turn right back around. And what was behind me is now going to be in front of me. It's going to be light again. And even if the sky is gray or gloomy, you still have light.
Yeah.
The only place in this world where there's not light at a certain time of the year, or where you might blink and miss the light, is Alaska. And that happens, I forgot for how many months or whatever. Hey, my sister used to live up there. But there's still, even in that darkest moment in Alaska, there is a glimmer of light, which lets you know that there is better on the horizon. So
I love it because when the question, this is my question, but I didn't have an answer for it. I really didn't. So when I called Aisha, my answer started to brew, and my word is decision. We make tons of decisions a day, so many that I don't remember the number. And what I think about is that there's power in your decision. There's energy that comes in with making the decision. You can go right or left. You can go up or down. You can cuss somebody out. You can give them you can, instead of cussing them out, you can cite a Bible scripture. You can, decide to raise your voice at somebody or not. There's so many decisions that we make within a day, period. So then think about how many decisions we make over a lifetime. And so the one thing that came to my mind is that when you talk about wholeness, that's a decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's a choice, and it requires action, but it also requires the mindset to engulf the power of making a decision. When I think about wholeness or being whole, we have everything that we need inside of us. Talk about this all the time with my clients. Everything that we need is inside of our vaults. What are we going to do? We put the combination to unlock that. That's a decision to utilize the combination to even go into your vault, to realize that there's enough power there to pull out whatever it is that you need to make the decision to do this, to make the decision to do that, to make the decision to go forward, to make the decision to go backwards, to make the decision to be consistent, to make the decision to come off the job, to make the decision to lose weight, to make the decision to get the divorce. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Decision. So when I do have compassion for people, please hear my heart when I say this. But I have a very low tolerance for people that want to complain more than taking the access that they have within their own vaults to make the decision on being whole, new, renewed, restored, all that, because it's a decision.
Yeah. Like you said, a lot of people don't even understand the power. They don't even understand that, they have that choice to choose, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I heard someone say there's no such thing as inconsistency because we're consistently making choices over and over. So you're consistently doing something. It may not be the things that you want to do, that you said you were going to do, but you're doing something consistently and constantly, and it's not getting you to that result that you want, but that comes down to the choice and the decision you make.
Right.
Because everything you do, you choose it.
Yeah.
And I don't think we really understand that, because a lot of things we do are on autopilot all the time. It's comfortable. You know what I mean? So we choose that comfortable thing. We don't like to be uncomfortable, but where we want to be is going to be outside of our comfort zone. So we have to choose those things. And I think if we switch our mind, even understand that to begin with, and switch our minds to choose, those things, we can make that shift. But yeah, what you said, that choice is powerful.
It can change your life. There's no can. It will change your life in many areas when you make the decision to decide. And what I like to share with people is that knowing who you are, knowing your identity. If you know anything about the identity coach and architect, I'm going to tell you, knowing who you are is the game changer. So when you can make the decision to show up every day, you may not be your best self, but you've made the decision to show up. Right. So all you can do is walk out life no matter how hard it gets. And one thing that I would definitely say, now that I know what I know, is that life is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. We go through hell and high water at times, but it's not always hell and high water. And I want to really say that today, whenever somebody is catching this, because you may be facing a lot of things. You may be saying, I never get a break. It's always something. But if you can really hold on and listen to what we've shared and understand that life is truly a gift and the things that you go through really do make you, it sounds cliche. Yeah, I know. But it's the real
Truth.
deal. It's the real truth. And we talk about pain a lot. Pain produces purpose. A lot of people don't want to hear that either. Because when people think of pain, they think of literally the pain that it goes through to face this, that, the other. But it all goes down to the mind and how we really truly register pain and how we choose to look at pain. And so, like I said, my word is decision. I'm sticking to it, taking it to the bank, and I know for sure that check won't bounce.
That was good. That was definitely good.
This has been an amazing show. We've gone over a little bit, but it was definitely well worth our time. Thank you guys so much. For those of you who are tuning in live or on the replay, thank you for your time, your energy. We pray that this message is serving as a PSA even for you or someone that you know in reference to suicide awareness. There's the number there as well as just listening to the nuggets that we've shared. This is a safe place, meaning that we're real. We're real people. We're gonna give you the real deal, and we're not sugarcoating a thing because our whole heart is postured to help and to serve and to really be able to shift people's lives by having this platform, by being real, relevant, and showing up to be able to share what really goes on in even the lives of women who look like we got it going on. Hey, we got our moments too. And I think that's one of the things that I want to really echo on this platform. We got a lot going on for ourselves as women. Yeah, we do, Renee. Why are you shaking your head? But it doesn't mean that we don't deal with a lot too. And I'm so thankful that a young lady back in 2018 planted the seed in my head to have a radio show, which literally launched into this because I didn't want it at first. I was like, me, radio show, what? But now what I realize is this platform is ministry. This platform is something that people need to tune into. There's something that we said tonight that really, truly helps somebody. I know it, I feel it, and that's what I'm sticking to. So thank you, ladies, Viola, Renee, so very much. You have time in your busy schedules to kick it with the ladies of Vault Talks, but as well share a message that definitely needed to be heard on this platform. So catch us next week as we have a very special entrepreneur coming to the platform next week. It's a guy. I'm letting a guy on the platform, but he's doing amazing things. So I really wanted to give him his flowers while he was alive. So we're gonna switch it up. But let me talk about the fourth Thursday really quick. And even Liz and Isha don't know about this one. So my amazing significant other, he has a show called The Male Perspective that airs every it's by Monday. So they just had a show this past Monday. So not next Monday, the Monday after that. So they were talking about 10 reasons why men get married. So it became a nice heated discussion. They were dropping their reasons, and then if anybody knows Takara Nicole, I love a good challenge. And so the fourth Thursday of this month for the He Said, She Said segment, the men of the male perspective meet the queens of Vault Talks Women Share. And we're going to be talking about 10 reasons why women get married. So you definitely want to tune in for that show. It's going to be hot, sizzle, sizzle, pop, pop, poppity, pop, pop, boom, pam, pow. So get ready. It's going to be exciting. So we thank you guys for your energy, for rocking with us. We love y'all. Much love. And we mwah.